All right, welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith.
Travis Wig.
Brian Chesko.
Gentlemen, I'm wearing a hat mainly because I hadn't cleaned my head up as normal. You know, I like to keep it pretty closely shaven, and it's just been crazy busy days. It's tough. It's tough representing the Cannon tonight. I'm going to do it. It's tough representing the Cannon as we got our tails kicked this weekend. But I'm going to do it because I am not a fair weather friend, and I do not believe that Arteta should be sacked, and I do not believe all the players should be let go.
Is that on the...
But also...
That was the discussion?
No.
People talking about that?
No.
He's on the hot seat?
If you actually check Slack, you would know this.
Okay. No, okay.
It seems like clockwork once a year will get a sty in my left eye. It's always my left. I don't know if it comes. I think this time it came from a speck of dirt getting in my eye or around my eye when I was working the other day. Anyways, so my eye is still swollen. I believe it's been taken care of. Pretty gross. You guys want to hear something gross?
I guess.
I mean, you're going to tell us anyways.
Probably. Last night, I'm looking, and
what have we said?
I look on the underside of my eyelid, which is swollen, and I see like a whitehead. I'm like, this is disgusting. You could almost see it if you looked at me closely. And it's like resting on top of my eye, the white part of my eye. I'm like, this is disgusting. So I go check. I holler at my wife. I was like, hey, listen, I need you to help me out with this. And she's a picker. She normally is like, she loves to like pick and do zits and blackheads and whatever else. Like she's
the
a picker.
primal instinct.
And I told her what I needed her to do. And she says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, yeah, no, you are, because I can't. Unless you want me to have a needle in my opposite hand with my opposite eye trying to look at it to pop it. Like, she's like, fine. So she went and got some tweezers and sterilized them and took care of it. And it's a lot less swollen today, and it might actually look somewhat normal. But yesterday I was starting to look like an ogre.
Okay. On this,
Just
it's on,
yesterday.
And I just wanted to say that because
it's
we're on
on your
video.
left eye. It's on your left eye. I see it. I see it a little bit.
Yeah. So
I had one of those a couple years ago. Yeah.
Notices, we're under the sickness watch here. I have styes in my eyes.
Oh, it's
it's
pollen.
Allergies are killing you.
I'm healthy as a horse over here, but now I'm worried.
That's good.
You didn't get sick in your sickness apocalypse that happened here at your house. So
I did. I got it
really?
eventually. Yeah, it was great.
Look, I can't make pollen not fall from trees.
No,
You're not trying hard enough.
I live in an oak tree neighborhood. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like you need to move.
I've reached the point of so much pollen, allergy medicine is not helping.
It's not even doing anything.
Yeah.
Have
We're
you tried hard drugs?
No, I haven't. Which ones?
Just
text me a couple.
A lot of them.
I'll see if I can.
Not meth.
Just
not meth.
Head on down to Miles Market. Ask for Killer.
Ask for Killer. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I might actually know.
All right. Speaking of allergies, a few teams this weekend were allergic to scoring goals, and we will get to that. So, Brian, these are things we want to do. We want to hit on double match week.
Yeah, well, let's recap.
34.
We'll recap a couple things.
Recap
a couple things because they're semi-important. But I think really the biggest issue for now is
preparing for 34. Yeah. I mean, that's what we're always
preparing. Are you free hitting 34? Are you not free hitting 34? And if whichever you're doing, what are you doing?
Are you free hit or 3 hit? That's one of my favorite things that you say. All right.
If I was not free hit, I would definitely be 3 hit this week.
All right, very good. All right, so let's dive into this. Travis, whose misery do you want to begin with? You want to begin with mine or you want to begin with yours?
I don't even know anymore, man.
All right, we will begin with mine. Arsenal 0, Villa 2. Villa does the double on Arsenal this year, and I don't know if it's Arsenal just has a problem beating teams that wear claret and baby blue, as West Ham beat them once as well. They lose to Villa twice. And, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's revenge of Unai Emery. I mean, he's a good manager. Yeah. Villa's a top 4 team. That's what brother Matt told me. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty disappointed. He goes, at least you lost to a top 4 team.
True. I was going to say, my first thought was, there's no way in the world that you're looking past Aston Villa.
No
This
way.
is not a matter of looking past.
Nope. And if you watch the first half, it was an awesome first half for a neutral. I mean, it was
it was fun.
Both sides got chances. It is up and back.
Right.
It's almost like a track meet.
Yeah, I saw Ollie Watkins miss. I also heard Robbie Mustoe at halftime here for NBC Sports say, kind of answer the question of what should Arsenal change anything? Is there what can they do here? And for the studio, at least here in NBC studio, it was they don't need to change anything.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Right. They're playing. They are the better looking. They're playing the better looking football. They gave up the worst chance.
Yeah.
But they don't need to change anything.
Yeah.
They're flowing. It feels like they can get something out of this. They don't need to do anything differently. And of course, they lose 2-0.
They come out the second half, and Travis, it's questionable if they actually came out the second half.
That's true. Villa smacked them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a smackdown. They couldn't get possession of the ball.
That was
Passes
the
were
weirdest
getting
part.
away from them again.
Yeah.
And they looked leggy.
Yeah.
Villa had less rest from their Europa tie. So
Which they're usually susceptible to the jet lag, if you will.
So-
That's how Spurs got him.
it could have been, look, I don't think Arteta put the best. I think he got to mess with the lineup again. Like, he started, I believe Jesus started. Am I crazy? Am I a crazy person? Yeah.
More worried about Zinchenko.
Yeah, Jesus, Trossard, and Zinchenko started. Now, that is different than what had happened recently and where they had more success. And Zinchenko wasn't as much of a liability in the first half as he was the second half. Ben White struggled. He got yanked at the 67th minute. I think it was because, I mean, look, you could look at it as that it was tactical.
Well,
but
John McGinn is a great player for breaking up play, and I don't think he deserves all the credit, but he, in a large part, nullified Declan Rice. Right? Declan Rice wasn't the guy
Rice
breaking
wasn't
up.
playing in the position he has been playing in. He was playing the
much-
6,
yep.
and Havertz and Odegaard were playing in the other positions. So, again, Havertz had been playing how many games in the front line, and he gets moved back. Now, I think Havertz still had a decent game, but taking Jorginho or Partey out of the defense or out of the midfield ended up being a significant problem.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I don't think it
Zaniolo,
changes.
we
It might
talked about that.
look. I'm not making any changes this week, Brian, until after tomorrow when Arsenal and Manchester City play. I want to, in case there's an injury there that I need to, work something out. We'll get to this later. I'm at least making 3 transfers this week. Right now, I don't have a goalkeeper because I have Areola and Kelleher.
Yep.
And we'll get to it in a minute, but we had a surprise start, sort of. Maybe not so surprise.
It was
From one
a decent surprise.
Allison.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I don't think this game changes anyone's opinion, I don't think, on Arsenal players. I was just super disappointed. I thought I had a good chance at a clean sheet. I'm sure, Brian, my prediction was wrong.
Yeah, your prediction was very wrong. Dave, first question. Do you like when your manager, when he asked about the decision to start Trossard, assumingly in place of Martinelli, as Football.London put it, Arteta said, because I'm the manager and I decide the lineup. Do you like his decision?
Yeah, because I would have said the same thing.
Okay.
But I'm going to be honest, in the back of his mind, Trossard's numbers, and I don't know why, but off the bench seem to be absolutely fantastic. It's like he just gets angrier and angrier and angrier as the game goes on. And he comes in, and I swear, sub-in Trossard might be the best finisher in the league.
Well,
and I don't understand it, but it's
Trossard had the shot that Emi Martinez saved. That I think it was still was. Were you down 1-0 or was it still? Was
They
it
didn't
still
score.
nils? No, I know, but Trossard had one of your players. I think it was Trossard had probably the best chance of the game, and Martinez kick saved it. It was like a point-blank shot that was saved. It was probably, it was easily the save of the game.
Trossard went off in the 67th minute, so it was 0-0.
It had to have been 0-0.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Trossard, and I'm pretty sure at that point, if Trossard scores it, the game is very different if he puts that away
Yeah.
instead of it gets saved.
Yeah.
The next thing, yes, for sure. I don't think.
Get that Kleenex.
You can do this.
Just hold on.
No, I just thought
That's
it was
fine.
fitting as the
That's not even the grossest thing that's happened on this pod yet, and we've only been going for 10 minutes. So.
yeah. I just thought it was amazing that Bailey comes in and scores,
He's got your number.
and of
I don't
course
know- I don't know
Ollie
if that's
Watkins
Yeah, of course.
continues to score.
Dave. So first of all, let me get your prediction. Your prediction was Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 3.
Wow,
So
I was in my feels there.
yeah, your prediction is
You have or not?
your
No,
prediction was incorrect. You at least were correct on the outcomes of the last two. So now you're. I'll say that you're 2-2 so far.
2-2.
What I was going to say for the rest of your team, Dave, not only, yes, you're correct, whatever happens tomorrow in the Champions League, I think minimum, all right, let's say minutes, right? Because that seems to be the debate for everybody right now. X minutes. Because I think that is a decision, like, Travis, you're free hitting. Your free hit is
Yes.
active.
Yeah.
My free hit is not yet active, but it will be before the end of the week. So first of all, Dave, Champions League lineup tomorrow, plus training the rest of the week. Does that have any? Do you think, barring injury, that it will have any bearing on the key players? So let's just say,
I don't
key
think
players.
you can.
Raya, Gabriel Saliba, Ben White. We'll throw Ben White in there as a
Agree.
key player.
I don't think it's going to affect those four.
Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Declan Rice.
It's not going to affect those guys.
Those are the only ones that. Okay, so
Maybe Saka. That's it.
okay,
Maybe.
and the only reason why is because he seems to be constantly managing something, and they seem to be. I mean, at the very least, it seems like they're trying to protect some of his minutes. But like, okay, let's say,
Whose minute? Saka's?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, even this week, there was a short panic because Odegaard, Arteta says Odegaard was feeling something. That's why they substituted him in the Villa game. So, and then, you have 2 days of, is he carrying something or not? And then he's in training today. So is Saka. So they're normal training ahead of Bayern. Presumably everybody that is fit is, the regular team will start against Bayern. So, I think the biggest thing is, like, for free hit, have you gotten any closer? How are you hedging in the Arsenal attack or defense? Do you have 3 Arsenal players?
I do have 3 Arsenal players.
Okay. You already had 3 Arsenal players.
I did, yes. I
And
did.
you have 2 Arsenal players.
3.
You have 3 Arsenal players.
3.
You have Saliba, Gabriel, and Saka.
Saliba, White, Saka.
Okay. And you have
Well, for the free hit, I have Havertz, Saka, and Raya.
oh wow. Okay. Not a defender.
You did not expect that.
Not even a little bit.
Well, he's got
Ry-
Raya.
I have Raya,
So he's
that
got some
technically
defensive
counts.
coverage there.
But from like a goalkeeper standpoint, I don't know that there's a better pick
There's
Right.
not. There's not.
for the double game week.
Right. No, there's not. I guess then the question after that is, like, let's say you guys, if you win and you win in regulation, like, you don't go in extra time.
At Bayern.
Right.
Okay.
If you win and you win outright in 90 minutes plus,
Right?
then I assume everything just goes as usual. What if you go into extra time? Would it change the way? Because then you assume, like, the key guys are going to play all the minutes, and
I just think you look at it and you go, well, number one, you don't want to risk injury. So if the physios if they're all wearing the man vests that are tracking their vitals during the match, and the physios are like, hey, this kid's producing about 66% of what he gets any lower, he's going to get hurt.
right.
Then guys might get pulled. But at this point, this is the business end. You play all the horses at this point until they get injured, I would think.
Okay.
Just about. I mean, you lose if you lose any more games, the season is becoming a failure. You're at that stage of the season where you lose tomorrow against Bayern, Champions League now somewhat of a failure. You did not get to the semifinals.
Well, I mean, I guess the issue, though...
Maybe it's not a failure, Travis. Maybe their expectation was a little bit lower, but...
They're on track to not have anything to show for a great season. Yes.
Yeah, like if you get to the semifinals and then you end up losing the Premier League, you could at least kind of look back and go, hey, we kind of got farther than we had in a long, long time. I mean,
that's a real North London way of thinking.
Okay. Hey, baby steps over here. Klopp less. Get used to it.
I think
get used to it, Kloppless.
I think that's your podcast title, North London Mindset.
Oh my gosh.
So Dave, here's why I feel like that's significant.
All right.
Okay, so it's April 17th is your match at Bayern. You have 2 full days. And then Wolves away, which is no pushover team. Wolves are not a joke team.
Agree.
They're not a great team, I don't think.
They're not beaching it.
But they are not a pushover team. And then it's 2 days, and you're home to Chelsea. Again, a Chelsea team that regardless...
Kind of hot right now.
I was going to say, unbeaten in however many now.
10 games.
And...
There really been that many? Jeez.
For all of their drama and all of the turmoil, like I finally saw somebody say, like, what were you expecting in what it can only be described as you're in the very beginning stages of a full rebuild with all new owner and new manager for this season, and you have a shot at Europe after as bad as it's been, and you're still pushing. So a Chelsea team that I'm sure would probably like to smack you around a little bit.
Do they have a shot at Europe?
I think.
I don't know.
I would say
they are currently 9th on 47 points. Newcastle is in 6th with 50.
So they have a game in hand
absolutely.
Still, too, don't
they?
They're 3 points.
They have 2 doubles the rest of the season.
Yeah,
they're
that's
three.
So a game in hand compared to Newcastle.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if you can get to that
it's a chance,
spot,
but yeah,
they can't. Fair. They're not going to catch Tottenham and Villa, who are fighting for 4th, and they're in the 63rd. But that second Europa spot,
yeah, you're probably right. That's fair.
I'm just saying that you have 2 days until Wolves after Bayern. You have 2 days after that until Chelsea.
It's shocking.
I'm just saying that, like, I think the minutes, like.
And they get to rest
up. That's why I'm saying if you win in regulation, and the normal starters play the full 90, still a lot of minutes.
Now,
with 2 days turnaround to go to a kind of tough opponent.
There is this.
Although it's green, it is rated
Chelsea
a green
is playing City on the weekend.
Oh, true.
In the FA semi-final.
Sure.
So there could be a chance that Chelsea might actually
get a little bit of a hangover
and or have some rotation needs.
Sure. And so yes, that is a fair point. So that's at least it knocks Chelsea down maybe a tiny peg.
Does it a mental peg drops them down one maybe?
They're hit or miss, so it's hard to tell what effect it's going to have on them.
Are you owning anyone? I get it if someone goes for Jackson. I get that.
No, but I'm just saying.
And everyone's already got Palmer.
I'm saying strictly for Arsenal, though. I'm saying strictly for Arsenal. If you I'm saying if they don't go into any sort of extra time against Bayern, then you probably just make your normal transfers, barring an injury. But if they do, what if it goes to all the way to a shootout?
Right.
Then what?
Right.
Then you're talking about 120 minutes plus shootout time.
Right.
With 2-day turnaround, then you'd say there is almost zero chance of Saka. Like already, you're probably not getting 180 minutes
of Saka
in those 2 matches.
Yeah, it's fair.
Which is exactly why for me, I'm ready to not have Saka in my free hit team at all.
So he's one guy that I'm going to end up having because I have him already and I don't have a free hit. If I was free hitting, I would not have him.
Right.
Yeah, I
would go with Havertz.
I originally had Raya White and Havertz.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just reworked it because it felt like if anyone's going to hit on the midfield, he's got as good a chance as any.
Yeah.
I mean, especially given that he's also on penalties as well.
All right.
I feel like
Well,
if you
yeah, and it makes sense. Like the penalties is a great argument for whoever is taking them, but I just wonder with his effectiveness. And then I also give you this. Last 5 game weeks. This is just from the Arsenal attackers. This is as recency bias as I can get on this for 5 weeks. Your top scorer is Havertz. The scoring in order for Arsenal attackers goes Havertz 30, Odegaard 22, Rice 18, Saka 17.
Yeah.
So that's your last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Havertz outscoring Saka by 13.
Yeah.
Goals. Havertz has 2. Odegaard, Rice, and Saka each have 1. But still, with the total amount of points,
Right.
you're still talking about Havertz leading the way. Shots. Havertz 12, Odegaard 11, Saka 10, Declan Rice 6. I think Trossard is in there somewhere too, but I'm not including him. On target, Havertz, Trossard, Odegaard, Saka. Do you realize that in the last 5 game weeks, Bukayo Saka has 1 shot on target?
Yeah.
that's hard to believe.
1 shot on target from Saka in the last 5 games.
It's really hard to believe.
Big chances. Havertz 4, Trossard 2, Odegaard and Saka 1 each. Like you don't not until you get to touches in the opposition box, Saka crushing it. But in every other category, Havertz is absolutely stomping him.
I think I said a few weeks ago that if I was grabbing an Arsenal midfielder, I would sub out Havertz for Saka.
And I'm sure we've gone through the numbers before. We already talked about how it was skewing. For a while there, it was all skewing toward Martinelli, and then Martinelli got injured. And now all the numbers are skewing toward Havertz, except for the creative chances, which are going exactly where you would expect to Saka and Odegaard.
Yeah.
But guess who has the most big chances created of all of your midfielders and attackers in the last 5 games?
Declan Rice.
Kai Havertz. 3. He's got 3 big chances created. Odegaard and Rice have 1 each, and Saka has 0. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how, if you have your choice of any of them, even if you're transferring someone in, your transfer in is like, excuse me.
Get it. It's okay.
It's Havertz, and it's not close.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other things like this where the numbers, to me, I'm like, I see that kind of the discourse about it, and I'm just like, I'm not really sure why it's going the way it is.
Yeah.
I've just seen like a assumed Saka on most teams, and it's a free hit, like a free hit.
If you're free
choice.
hitting, that's hard.
I don't know. I can't imagine I'm gonna end up with him at all. I would say right now it's Havertz. I had Havertz and Ben White, but I just don't know who the third is going to be between Raya, Gabriel, and Saliba, or Saka and Odegaard.
Yeah. That's tough.
Wouldn't you say that? Would you trust Odegaard like next most for minutes?
Probably.
Declan Rice had a moment there. I know. He had a really good run of matches. He's kind of cooled off here in the last few games. I'm even saying, look, in the last 5, he's nowhere near the other guys in any category, including pure points. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like Declan Rice, who knows? He could do it too, but it just doesn't seem like if you're choosing here, you're not going to him. So. Like, I don't know. To me, I still am really torn between, like, am I going to put Havertz, Havertz and Odegaard in there? Because I think the other midfield options from the other doubling teams, I feel like maybe they feel better to me than the Arsenal guys.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I saw a lot of people saying, and this is like the number that's out there readily available, is how many more shots Gabriel has than the rest of the Arsenal defense combined.
Right.
It was, I think, last week, and it's a number
it's significant.
Yeah, it was like 26-6 or something
right.
like that. Like 26 shots for Gabriel and like 6 for the rest of the team or something. It was some absurd, like not even close, like and it's the reason why I'm hesitant. I have Gabriel in real life. I'm hesitant to take him out on the wild card, or on the free hit.
I was in the same boat, and ultimately, I think he's the most dangerous on any free kick situation as well. And they've had plenty of those opportunities. So I think Gabriel is in there for a shout. The way that Zaniolo torched White, we were talking about before we started recording, was unheard of, and it kind of made me second guess bringing him in.
His who scored rating though was tied for the highest of your team.
Ben White?
Yeah,
Wow.
Odegaard and Ben White both at a 7.2.
Surprising.
That's according to who scored. Not one other Arsenal
Who
player.
scored wasn't Arsenal.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah.
This guy over here.
Okay, very good.
So
all right. All the questions answered?
I think the
Pseudo-answered as
Arsenal
much as possible?
to me, I think the Arsenal questions aren't going to be answered until tomorrow through Friday, which is the sad reality of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I know where I'm leaning. Like if you were ranking them, I think this table is saying Havertz number 1.
But it's been
a defender number 2.
A defender.
Yeah, I don't care which one.
Yeah, okay.
I don't.
Sure.
I don't know that. I mean, you can make the straight up shots case for Gabriel. This last game, Ben White getting yanked is what protected his numbers over all the other guys. So if you had gone to Ben White over all the other guys, you got a clean sheet and you got nothing from the other ones.
That's true. That happened to me.
Right. So you get to see a 6, and everybody else gets to see a 1 or a 2. And then I think just if you want to go the safest possible, Raya has to be the safest possible goalkeeper. It's just whether you want to use that
probably.
spot. If you want to use that as one of your Arsenal spots, a guy who, I don't know, does he do a lot of saves? I feel like he doesn't save much because he doesn't have to do much.
Raya doesn't make a ton of saves because he's not doing much.
Right. So
you're right. I mean, you're looking at that and you're seeing it correctly, Brian.
Right, and that's fine, because I think still like this is who had it this week. I think it was FPL Salah had the list of like best XGC defenses this season, and Arsenal is so far above everybody else. Like it's not even close. They were like, I'll find it. But either way, the point is Arsenal's defense is far and away the best for expected goals conceded. I just feel like even in leggy, like toughish matchups, they're still the best defense. Far and away the best defense in the league this season.
Yeah,
so,
fair enough. All right.
Anyway.
Let's get out of my misery. Excellent work, Brian. Let's get into Travis's misery. Crystal Palace shocked everyone, and they scored 1 goal, and Liverpool supernaturally couldn't get a goal, and they scored 0.
Do you want to call this segment Fly Eagles Fly or Pool of Sadness?
Oh, wow. Wow, you're going to have options this pod, Travis.
Neither.
Oh, that sucks.
Neither.
You're going to have options.
No, it was not a fun match to watch. I don't like losing. Of
course. Who does? No one.
The good news is we didn't lose to Roy Hodgson.
Okay.
Or I guess we didn't lose to a former manager like someone else did within the game week.
I see what you're doing there.
It's been really poor. The last 4 matches really have just not gone well.
It's a bad week. It's a bad week for you.
Probably, I read somewhere, probably the worst week in maybe 20 years or so. Pretty bad. So there is a generation of Liverpool fans who haven't really experienced this.
Hey, which of your numbers makes you the most upset?
All of them.
21 shots to 8.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
By the way,
or just the 6 to 5 shot advantage of shots on target, which I find that a little surprising. A 70-30 possession advantage, which I don't think that's surprising. 0 goals from a team XG over 3, 4 total big chances. Salah himself with a XG of 0.84, although none of the blowing it statistics attacking-wise seem to be all that surprising for Liverpool these days.
Yeah, the wastefulness and lack of a cutting edge has been pretty much the defining factor. The thing for me, though, that has been more frustrating almost, if you can imagine it, is just the Liverpool's inability to win the second balls.
Yeah.
The fact that we had 70% possession is interesting to me, and that just honestly speaks more to Palace sucking than Liverpool actually doing anything on the press, because every ball that we challenged for against City, Atalanta, United, like the ball would come loose, the press would be effective, but the ball would come loose, and the press didn't gain possession. They were dislodging the ball, breaking up play a little bit, but in the end, opposition was picking up that loose ball like 80-90% of the time, and that is really, really taxing to press that hard and to be successful only to not be able to gain possession, which ultimately again just makes the press not effective, which to me is probably the biggest problem with the match. That said, I was buoyed by Trent coming on towards the end of the match, and he definitely looked fit and ready to play.
Okay.
He also looked dangerous and positive in a way that we haven't looked in a while. And so I don't know that he is ready for 90 minutes, but he's going to be close for the double game week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Liverpool might be worse as far as what to expect for minutes than Arsenal is, because I feel like you know what you're getting for the most part with the starters for Arsenal. I feel like the Liverpool attack, you've already said 1,000 times, like now that everyone is fit, the only one you can really count on, I think, at this point is Salah, and because I would just say probably. Like, so that who gets what minutes. So in this match, Salah, McAllister, Robertson, Virgil, Allison, 90 minutes. So surprise, like Dave said, welcome back, Allison, in between the sticks.
That was surprising for sure. I think
you're not thinking about him.
Kelleher
on your
did not have a good match at Atalanta.
Yeah, Kelleher probably should have done more for at least one of those goals. And honestly, I think it probably put Allison over the line into, if he's fit, he plays right away.
Clear it up right now. You did or did not think about Allison on your free hit for your goalkeeper?
I did.
Are you still thinking about it?
I am still thinking about both Allison and Virgil on the free hit team.
Okay.
The issue with Virgil was that I wanted to get Salah, Diaz, and Darwin, and a Liverpool defender is just not a priority.
Okay. Not Robertson.
No, I don't. I just don't think that he's done enough. I think he's playing well. He honestly looks like his season just started. He's fit because he hasn't played all that much.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a ton of minutes under his belt. He's aging, but no, I just don't. He hasn't been effective. Now, when Trent comes back and they start those crossfield balls and they start bombing down the wings, things tend to shift and tactics tend to start clicking.
Yeah, and
I don't think that your suggestion of Robertson is crazy, but at this point, I just can't get past those three: Salah,
right.
Diaz, Darwin. I think that's the best three that you can pick right now.
All right.
McAllister's maybe in the mix over Diaz in a little bit, but I just don't think McAllister is going to end up as forward as he has, because Endo hasn't been great.
Okay.
So I think McAllister's going to be further back in the 6. Trent's going to push in to the middle, and McAllister's going to have to cover a lot more.
All right. Connor Bradley injured. We know now for sure he's out for weeks and weeks. What they say,
3.
May?
Yeah, at least 3. His season's not over, but it's pretty close.
And this is not, so even despite that, for you, it's not Trent Alexander-Arnold time.
It will be.
I
It
just
will be.
think-
It's just going to be fitness. When does he get his fitness? And it will be 100%. It will be.
42 minutes.
Yeah.
Which would he have played 42 minutes if Bradley doesn't get injured when he does? Probably
No.
not, right?
No, he probably plays. He probably comes in at the 60-minute mark, like they like to do. He probably gets.
But
a
when he
solid
came
30.
on for you, he did not look off it. He did not look. He looked like a
I
guy.
was worried about it.
Okay.
Honestly, I really was, fitness wise. Jones came back, and even Klopp made a comment about it. Jones came back in his first match back. He was winded, really, really early. He was having some fitness trouble, and Klopp was really surprised. And honestly, it really showed that he needed to get yanked. But Trent did not look like he was struggling at all. And so I just think that he's going to get a good set of training under his belt. He's going to probably play some minutes at Atalanta.
I was gonna say. So that's like. I feel like that's the next question. Are they going for it against Atalanta?
I just
or are
don't
they
see a
not?
world where they don't. I
Okay.
just don't see a world where they don't.
So this is not like you're gonna get there and it's like.
Yeah, contrary to what Jamie Carragher says, is that the Atalanta scored enough goals to where Klopp just needs to play kids and they need to go for the league. But that's just not. That's just not.
Especially when
the
they
way that
flipped it on Barcelona a few years ago.
Well, even that, and again, last time we played Atalanta, yeah, Sadio Mane was on the team, but last time we played Atalanta at their in the reverse fixture at their stadium, we put 5 on them. It was 5-0. So, and it's the same coach, a lot of the same players on both sides. I just don't see a world where
What are they going to do with Skamaka? How are they going to guard Skamaka?
they're probably just going to have to
Hope to
muscle
contain
him.
him.
Just play defense.
They're just going to have to pretend like he plays for West Ham again, and it'll be fine.
Exactly. Well said.
Now the back line has not been protected, and again, I think that's largely due to Endo's shortcomings. Most of the goals that we have been conceding, he's been in and around, and I think that is probably what changes. He was the first casualty in the match against Crystal Palace in terms of substitutions, and the team definitely looked more progressive without him, and looked more solid defensively without him, and that's when the team was able to really get possession, in meaningful chunks instead of the back and forth that was going on early before that. So again, I like Endo. I just don't think that he has been as effective as he probably could be, and it's cost us.
One
a
of your
little bit.
woodwork hits, though, against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So stay at the back for a second. My thinking, like, is I would like to make it just for the upside of it. I want it to be Trent in my team. I agree with anyone who would say, is he even remotely fit enough to start both matches, let alone get to 60 minutes in both matches?
I think he probably plays both. I don't think he starts both.
Okay, so that already, like, and then how you weigh that against 2 away matches at Fulham, at Everton, and how we've already said
You just gotta
they're not the easiest. However, this is this is like one of the top attacks in the league that has been one of the most wasteful displays anyone has ever seen. Does the toilet unclog at any point? It could unclog against either of these two teams.
Yeah.
I don't think Fulham's all that good defensively.
I would tend
and
to.
you just saw what happened with
That's
Everton.
pretty good. Everton, there's no way Trent doesn't play. I would venture to, if I was a betting man, I would bet money that Trent starts against Everton.
Okay.
I just don't see a world where that's
don't.
not a short-term goal for him to get on the pitch from the start against Everton. It means too much to him to be on the field for the Merseyside derby.
His ownership's 8.5%.
That's
It's just
extremely high.
Mostly dead
I
teams.
thut it was really high. It's got to be the number of dead teams.
Robertson was where I was thinking I would end up, but but I would say this for Robertson. It's not the easiest to judge because he's played such limited minutes since he came back from injury, game week 22. But let me give you this.
Simicast looked terrible.
I'll just do this on a per 90 basis because that's the only way to really evaluate it. He started the last 2, so 90 minutes in the last 2 league matches, which you like that.
Yeah.
He looks, like you said, like this. Like
He looks fit,
very fresh. He's second to Connor Bradley in points per 90, FPL points per 90. So he's 3.77 points per 90. Fine. Like that's Bradley's at almost 6. So that's, I would say, pretty good. He's got over 4 chances created per 90 since game week 22. So like that was his one thing that for so long at the beginning of the season, even after he got injured, he had been so creative that he stayed in the top. I mean, he was really in the top 10. I feel like a lot of the first half of the season just because of the volume he reached while he was fit, like before he separated the shoulder. So I'm not surprised to see that at all. And he has 1.14 big chances created per 90.
Yeah.
Like, it's all number one on the team. So there isn't anybody else that's doing it. Trent's, in this course, Trent is also out through the, a lot of the last, 7, 8, 9 game weeks or whatever.
No one else is crossing the ball. I would love to see the crossing numbers on that. No one else is crossing the ball, and that's why.
So
right?
He's number one for, so then the passing, that's the one thing that was one of the other things we talked about before, just penalty area entry passes. Like that's, the last pass into the penalty area. He's number one in the team, so 14.65 passes in the penalty area per 90, ahead of Trent just barely. And he's 14.97 crosses to Trent's 10.78 per 90. He will take corners. So that factors in. So that is contributing to that number. But either way, I just thought that was interesting to see. Even on a per 90 basis, in limited minutes, per 90, he's the number one or number 2 defender for Liverpool since game week 22. Only Connor Bradley ahead of him, and Bradley's only ahead of him in like the very, very forward attacking statistics. Yeah. So
interesting.
It's worth noting. It's 100% worth noting, and I do think he becomes more dangerous with Trent on the field because when they're peppering from both sides, they're shifting the defense from one side to the other, causing them to flow. The early ball in becomes much more dangerous, and he is really, really good at that early ball in. So I do like that shout. I don't think that I'm ready to go that route with my team, but I like it.
But you would think about Virgil. Is that just for safety?
Honestly, it's mostly just because there's so many trash defenders that have doubles.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I would love to make it. I mean, I would love to be one of the people who makes a case for a Crystal Palace defender. At least
I have one in my team right now. Yeah.
So that's.
Would you do Dean Henderson?
No, I don't think so.
Ryan Allison. Money's
not
an object.
What if you didn't have a free hit?
Well, if you didn't have a free hit.
And you didn't have a goalkeeper at the moment.
Well, who could you possibly be talking about?
Well, then you should just buy your favorite team, Manchester United, and get Onana in your team and take.
He doesn't double.
In 37, he does.
He does, not in 34. But he's playing Sheffield.
He's playing Sheffield.
But he's expensive.
And Manchester United defensively sucks.
I don't have the money because I want to try to get Bruno on my team.
Okay. Well, either way.
Anyways, all right.
When we talk about Crystal Palace, I would say it's
not.
But
we're not talking about them yet. I mean, no, we are. We are talking about them. What's wrong with me?
No,
we can't get off Liverpool. Crystal Palace did play in this game.
No, because I'm just saying, like
the mighty Palace defense played in this game.
I guess their
organization was great.
My thing with Virgil is he's taken the second most shots of any defender this season. So that's like the one positive for him.
Just because we keep winning so many corners.
Right, and he took the most shots in this game. So that's not you don't
many
want that.
Corners.
I don't think you ever want Virgil to be your highest shooter. Do you?
I mean, if he scores, sure.
Right, okay,
but he's not.
But
so
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying the other thing with him though, since New Year's, since the break of the new year, he has a clean sheet against Bournemouth in game week 21. He scored a goal against Luton clean sheet against Bournemouth 21. He has scored a goal against Luton, and they got a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest. Okay, those are the 3 returns for Virgil.
It's not much.
Every other game has been a 1 or a 2 from Virgil since Christmas.
Why have I owned him?
0 bonus points in the clean sheet games and 0 bonus points in the Luton game when he scored a goal. It's because it was 4-1 or whatever, so there was no chance of him getting a bonus. Like, I guess I'm wondering, I just don't see the upside for Virgil.
Other than the shots taken.
Other than shots
Yeah.
and the fact that he's the most nailed of the defenders. He's the most certain of anyone to play 90 minutes.
And those are valuable pieces of information,
Right.
but again, what you said is an absolute avalanche of reasons not to pick him. Especially relative to Andy Robertson, right?
I have 2 more things. We've got to nail this down. Luis Diaz. Tell me about Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez. Both played 66 minutes. They get subbed for Jota and Gakpo. That, to me, is such a minefield.
It does feel like a
Gakpo
minefield.
is less of an issue. Darwin's going to be on the field. Darwin is going to be on the field. He's going to get minutes.
Both?
I don't know that he starts both, but he's going to be on the field. He's going to be dangerous, and he's good off the bench, just like a Trossard, right? So
I think he's better off the bench.
I don't know if he's better off the bench, but he's good. I just think that
who's better
this
than
Liverpool team is
Darwin is Jota.
He does look okay, but he's having to drop pretty deep to pick up the ball. All that to say, yes, that is fair.
You are keeping Darwin on your free hit.
Yeah,
I am ready
Diaz
to toss him straight into the garbage.
I think Diaz is the one that gets pulled, not Darwin.
Easily the dumbest question that I've asked on this podcast this
Would you
season
rather have
is the Watkins Darwin who will score more points for the rest of the season? I am ready to concede that one right this second.
What did I say?
I think I'm not sure how much you were involved, but I think you generally
Did we
agreed
think
with
Darwin
the
was
feeling
going
that,
to?
I said Darwin and it's not
no way.
close.
Yeah.
And it's already not close. Watkins
Watkins is going to get the golden boot.
I don't think Darwin can catch him even if he lights on fire the rest of the season.
Not if Cole Palmer.
It's true.
Palmer has anything to say.
I
about
have a question
All right,
about him.
Crystal Palace. I'm bringing in Mateta.
Listen,
there's one more thing.
I'm just saying, when Salah was gone, the numbers for Luis Diaz were off the charts. When Salah was gone, Luis Diaz was the 3rd highest scoring player overall.
Wow.
Hold on. No, I will get this. Game weeks 21 to 27, while Salah was out. So no Salah in the team. Scored 44 points. He was the 6th highest scoring midfielder. Okay. He had 3 goals, 3 assists. Love that. He was the second among midfielders for shots.
Okay.
Number 2 midfielder for shots on target. He had 6 big chances, which was tied for second among all midfielders.
Who was first, Richarlison?
Either Saka or Foden in that gap.
No
So game weeks 21 to 27, it was either Saka or Foden were number 1 in all the categories. But Luis Diaz was routinely number 2 in all of them. After Salah came back in game week 28, first of all, Luis Diaz still is outscoring him since Salah came back, by the way. So it's 27 points to 19. So Luis Diaz has outscored him by a full goal.
Wasting the money there.
Right.
Here we are.
He's 9th for points among midfielders. He's scored 2 goals and got 1 assist. He's 5th for shots. He's 7th for shots on target. He's tied for 4th for big chances. And but touches in the box, he's still about the same. He's still number 3 overall for midfielders, despite Salah being there. And Salah is like number 1 for touches in the box. So I guess basically, other than a slight drop off in volume, he still is. He's more effective than Salah has been. Objectively, has done more, has more FPL points than Mo Salah since Salah has come back in game week 28. Diaz is in your free hit team.
Currently, yes.
Are you nervous about him losing minutes or a start to either Jota or Gakpo?
Jota, not Gakpo.
Okay.
It'll be Jota. Honestly, all of the information that you're saying,
fine with a off the bench performance for Darwin or Luis Diaz, and you also have Salah's not going to play 90 minutes in both games.
I would almost bet that he will.
Okay. Is he your captain?
Not currently.
All right, that's exciting. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Like I kind of don't want Darwin to be my forward. And it's exactly that.
Mateta.
Well,
Cunha.
no, Solanke is one.
After all that talk about Solanke,
I know.
he scores one goal.
He scores one goal.
And you just throw it all out the window.
It's just that I am not worried about him getting benched. I'm also not worried about him
fair.
blowing big chances. And he's on penalties. So that's the other, like, to me.
You probably got Kluivert in your team too, don't you?
Absolutely do not. Absolutely
you
not.
do.
And he's not a consideration. No, I guess I'm just.
You don't like short people?
Well, look, I don't want to sound mean, but I don't like a lot of them.
I'm not sure how I can take that any other way.
No, they're fine. Short people are
You're a
good.
height fist.
I am absolutely not.
All right.
So I guess that's all of those questions. I'm saying, like, does the result on Thursday do anything for you one way or the other? Injuries, I'm like, obviously, other than an injury.
Yeah, I think other than injuries, no, not really. If any, yeah, no, not really.
So if
they lose, it strengthens the resolve that they've got to win everything and score as many goals and smash everyone.
Okay.
Right? If they win, because that means that the league is all that they've got left. If they win,
They just put on easy street.
and they slam Atalanta and somehow they progress, they're on cloud 9. They're going to go for it.
Yeah.
They're untouchable. They're going to ride that momentum. I just don't think either way they don't just absolutely go for both matches.
Yeah, like if they win 4-0, is that the thing that lifts them? Like does that do enough for them?
Probably not, but
it just feels like in the league.
Love to see it.
Here's the other reason why I ask all this.
They can score 4 goals against Atalanta. They can score 4 goals. They have enough shots. They have enough offensive creativity. They just need to finish. If they finish their XG, they can score 4 goals against Atalanta.
2 weeks ago, you have the most hilarious draw against Manchester United.
It was not hilarious at all.
It was one of the funniest games I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing. Not as good as the FA Cup game, but it was still amazing.
FA Cup game was very entertaining.
Then you get obliterated at home for the first time in 10 years against a team you've destroyed previously. Jurgen Klopp says, "Oh yes, there will be a response."
Right.
Read my lips.
I promise you there will be a response.
There will be a response.
And there was.
Right. And
they
there was
responded by getting worse.
This response.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my question. Like,
I just don't see a world where they don't like. This is a team.
Was the response a delay? It was a 2-week delay for the responce.
It was.
Wasn't like
it
I
was
didn't say
in the
it
mail.
right away.
It was in the mail. We wrote the check. It just hadn't cleared yet. It's there. No, I just think that this is a team that thrives on that kind of adversity, and as an opportunity to show everybody what they can do. The whole idea of the silliness of the mentality monsters.
They can.
No, I think that they need it.
But now they can't.
I think they need the adversity in order to
I don't think
perform.
you have the midfield to do it.
I would disagree. I think we just need to finish. I think our midfield is one of our stronger aspects at this point.
Yes. You're right. Look, and we need to move on.
You know it's going to be Harvey
You
Elliott.
guys do need to
outscoring
finish.
everybody this week somehow.
I think he does get more minutes than he has been.
You guys
All right.
do need to finish.
I'm just saying because
Just the shots is outrageous.
Any week where you have Arsenal and Liverpool as two of the doubling teams, I don't care what week it is.
Even off a loss.
They're
yeah.
two of the best teams, period. They're the two. They are a 1 or 2 or 3
Right.
in the league.
Right.
And then there's a gap before you get to 4th. So I'm saying, like, regardless of what you're doing, you are probably trying to find a way to get six players
which
from
is
Arsenal and Liverpool.
Over 50% of your team.
That is over 50% of your starting lineup for this double game week. And I feel like
And the rest is from Bournemouth.
Absolutely, it is Zabarnyi, Neto, and probably
And then
Solanke.
Sheffield.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's all I'm trying. I'm not trying to stay on
No.
Liverpool for 20 minutes. I'm
It's
trying
too
to
late.
make
It was
up.
You're
30
right.
minutes. It was
It's
30
Liverpool
minutes.
makeup time for all of the Spurs time that I gave in the first
Well,
half of this.
we're about to go there next.
No, we got to talk about Crystal Palace.
Mateta.
After Crystal Palace,
Okay.
of course.
All right.
So,
Mateta, Eze, Elise.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
no.
That's it.
The people you want is
And a defender.
Mateta and maybe a defender and or Henderson.
Yeah, Elise and Eze would have probably been an option, but it's so hard to tell which one of them is going to hit.
Who?
Elise and Eze.
I think you take Eze.
Eze was
no
nullified
question.
not this weekend, but this past weekend.
If you're
We're
free
against City.
hitting.
Completely nullified.
Right.
And then Elise came on and looked like he was going to score on him.
What I think you're hoping for from Crystal Palace is that 2 home games for them is greater than 1 or 2 away games for all the other teams that you're choosing from. Plus, you're hoping that 2 home games that are against West Ham and Newcastle are greater than 2 home games against, say, Arsenal and Bournemouth, which is what Wolves have.
Right.
So Wolves have 2 home games, but they have Arsenal and Bournemouth. And a home game against Arsenal is bad no matter what. Where, not only is Palace have 2 home games, but they have 2 home games against defenses that are objectively awful. So, you're also hoping, I think, that that West Ham is as leggy as David Moyes says they are, and they're
They
about
look
to
it.
play Leverkusen. And you're also hoping, I think, that Jared Bowen's question mark of return
not
time. He
gonna
doesn't
come back.
seem like he's coming back anytime soon. And then you're hoping that the leaky defense of Newcastle shows up on the road, and that they are also at least that it can lead to maximum offense.
Yeah.
I just think
It's a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams.
I feel like they're realistic. I don't feel like
I
those are
agree with
pipe
that.
dream.
It is a lot,
hopes.
though.
It is a lot, but I don't think they're all unreasonable hopes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
So
So you're saying Eze?
I'm saying not just because, I think his minutes will definitely be managed. The thing is, Elise just came back from his long-term injury. Eze came back 3 weeks ago from his injury. So Elise went 14 minutes, and then I think 60 something minutes
68.
this week. So that's good progress. I just think there is no way in the world they can push that they can push Elise very hard.
All right, Elise.
Eze can play. I think they can push him a little harder, but I still think that you're basically, I think you're hoping you get something from him in 140 minutes.
I mean,
Compared to 180 for other players.
he came off in the 77, so
Right.
sounds about right.
I just don't know how you can argue with a guy who's this good with Elise back in the side, who is the penalty taker for Crystal Palace. I've seen tons of, if you want to punt on a captain this week, punt on Eze as your captain over almost anybody else just
Interesting.
because of the ceiling that he offers. And I'm I don't hate it. I don't know that I'm going to do it, but I don't hate it as a choice. Elise, I feel like he might have the higher ceiling, but I just think the minutes, I don't know. I just can't imagine him playing. I don't know. Maybe
I just
he
don't know if they can afford to.
maybe
not
he
play him.
starts. Maybe he gets exactly 120, he gets 60 and 60 in the 2 matches. But I just would just say for Elise, game weeks 12 to 22, 70 points, 6 goals, 3 assists,
Yeah.
3 double-digit hauls. He scored 9 points 2 other times. Michael Elise, if he gets back in there and gets any kind of flow, it's a different team. Crystal Palace is different when Eze and Elise are there. That's all.
So you didn't mention Mateta. We're not really joking at this point.
No, I'm not. I don't hate it. I'm not sure that he would. I feel like the midfielders are stronger, and you would have to convince me that Mateta is worth starting to go 3-4-3. Do Do you know what I mean?
You're referencing free hit style.
Yeah, but
No, I'm saying I'm saying regardless. I think that.
Well, I'm considering a bench boost.
I'm saying unless you have really. Well, that's strong.
It's either now or 37.
I'm saying
right.
If you're not
37
free
might be a
hitting
better one.
and you have like Garnacho as your fifth bench or as your fifth
Yes,
midfielder
I
or
actually
something,
do. Yes.
then I think you would probably play. And like if it's like a decision between I'm going to play Mateta as my third forward or Garnacho as my fifth midfielder, then you play the doubler. Because I feel like then at that point you're more hopeful that Mateta, who's been good, can outscore a single game weaker even in a good matchup. I don't hate the Mateta choice, and I think again. There's no threat of him. It feels like there's no threat of him getting, that Edouard is going to get the start in one of these two. It has been very clearly Mateta with Edouard subbing on.
All right, let's move on.
Defenders.
To
Palace defenders.
Anderson and Munoz.
It was FPL Salah ahead of last week's deadline. He put the top expected goals conceded for defenses in the league so far.
Okay.
And it went in the order I guess you would expect it to go. Arsenal number 1 with an expected goals conceded of 21.6 for the season.
Okay.
Number 2, Manchester City
with
30.3.
Oh, wow, that's significantly higher.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Arsenal is significantly better.
Wow.
And then Liverpool, third, 36.5.
Wow.
Crystal Palace is fourth for the season.
Joel Ward, man, he just
I know.
Joel
The
Ward.
ageless wonder.
Hey, bring him in.
those pecs.
No, he's
man.
not doing
Bring
it.
him
You're
in.
not bringing him in. No, I think that was surprising for almost everyone to see that Palace. I don't think the season feels like that, and yet Crystal Palace defensively, the fact that they were fourth, and that's a big gap between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. I think just the fact that they were that high, I think is a surprise, might be a surprise to a lot of people. And then sure enough, you get that number and next thing you know, it's 1-0 Crystal Palace at Anfield.
And they hold on.
The name that keeps popping up, and we've talked about this before, is Munoz. That Munoz is like this. He's such a trendy name on so many of these. I'm dying here.
I can tell.
On so many of the pundits.
Pile of tissues over there.
He is a pundit's darling on free hit, and I've seen at least one account that talked about when he was in Belgium, he was a 15-goal scorer, playing on the right wing. So kind of the goal scoring pedigree or whatever is there. And then eye tests, he's getting into advanced positions, whatever. And I would just say the numbers since he arrived at Crystal Palace absolutely do not back that up. So I'm sure there are probably times where it's he looks dangerous compared to Joachim Andersen or whatever. I'm just saying if Chris Richards, I'm not sure how injured he is. I know he was supposed to be out. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out. If Chris Richards didn't get injured, he would be number 1 in all categories for Crystal Palace defenders since Munoz arrived, and it wouldn't be close because he's still up there for in stats compared to since game week 23, and that's after getting injured. He still has some numbers that are ahead of Munoz and
right.
We're gonna do a supercut of you sniffling and blowing your nose.
It's that time of year. It's allergy time. And look, Travis, I'm considering. Think about this. As I'm trying to fill some time here, I'm considering if I'm gonna bench boost this week, taking a massive hit of possible 16 points.
I like that.
But it's on a bench boost, and so many are doubling. So I'm and I'm adding some United players, i.e., well, here's the other thing, too. Would you rather have Bruno Fernandes at this point, who you know is going to start, or Phil Foden?
I think you need to see the.
You need to wait.
I think you need to see the lineups
tomorrow.
I think if you're trying to build
I'm
for the
just
rest
saying,
of
it
the
looks
season,
crazy.
you're trying to fit both.
Sounds
Trying to
crazy.
fit both those guys in.
All right. Well, then do I send out Salah?
I don't know. That's a tough one. You can't sell him ahead of this double game.
No, of course not. Anyways, all right.
So I'm
Moving
saying
on.
that the Crystal Palace defense, since Munoz arrived in game week 23, just looking at, so that your main options are Tyreek Mitchell, Joachim Anderson, and Munoz. They're fantastic choices for free hit or otherwise. I mean, I don't see them as a bad choice because they're cheap anyway. Anderson's the most expensive, and he's down to 4.7 compared to where he was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Since game week 23, your points go Tyreek Mitchell 28, Anderson 26, Munoz 23. Part of that is that Tyreek Mitchell scored you 12 if you had him this week against Liverpool, which I mean, I don't know how many people even had him, much less started him against Liverpool. Whatever. He's still the number one scorer for Crystal Palace defense since game week 23. They're about equal in minutes. Munoz has played all 900 minutes of those 10 games. So Anderson he's got subbed out for 1 minute at some point. Tyreek Mitchell has played 884 minutes. There is no threat to minutes for any of them. Munoz leads in shots, 4-2. That's it. Tyreek Mitchell has taken 2. Anderson has taken 2. Munoz has taken 4.
Okay.
That, to me, that is not like, oh, this attacking guy from the other league is coming in and he's an attacker. It's not. He's got 2 more shots than the other guys. He's taken the only player with a shot on target since game week 23. The only defender that has a shot on target is Tyreek Mitchell. He's got 1. So like, are you like, where is all like? I guess that's where I'm trying to figure out like where all of this like oh, Munoz, I gotta find a way to get him in. And I'm like, you just watched Tyreek Mitchell get an assist. Like he assisted the winning goal. He gets the haul of the players, from the Palace team against Liverpool. And I'm like, and you have the numbers right in front of you. He has the higher XG. He's got 2 big chances compared to Munoz's 1. Whatever. Who cares? It's 2-1. It's like, that's, to me, that's like a nothing. Yeah, that's anybody can get that. And then like you'd think like box touches in the opposition box. It's 17 Munoz, 14 Mitchell. Like that's also nothing. Like 3 touches is nothing. They've created the same number of chances, 7 each. Tyreek Mitchell has created 2 big chances, and Munoz and Anderson have 1 each. Like Tyreek Mitchell has the higher expected assists, higher XG, and he is the one who puts in most of the crosses. It's 22 crosses for Tyreek Mitchell, 7 for Joachim Anderson, and 6 for Munoz. The case, like the numbers, it's like Mitchell won, and then flip a coin between Munoz and Joachim Anderson, depending on, I guess, what you're trying. There's no clear-cut number 1 guy. That's the thing.
I mean, other than Ward.
Other than Joel Ward, and that's just because you take age. You need the wisdom of the player, and you can't put that in a number.
I mean, age. What is age but a number, Brian? I
guess what I'm trying to say is like, for all of the accounts that are out there, like propping up Daniel Munoz and just saying like, oh, this guy, this attacking guy, he's really on it, and it's just like, well, not one number bears that out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you have to get Tyreek Mitchell, but I'm just saying like
you should.
Since game week 23, this is not like this isn't the last 3 game weeks. It's not even the total. It's not even the total for the season.
Right.
It's 10 game weeks of data, and Tyreek Mitchell it's
quarter of the season.
Right. Is a lot.
All right. Very good. All right. Are we good with Palace? That's a lot, Brian. You were loaded for that segment,
guys,
which is
all
awesome.
we have talked about is those 2 matches.
I'm just saying this is all the teams you got to decide. That's what I'm saying. You got to decide on these players. These are like the main players you're choosing
on a free
for
hit.
the double game week players.
You didn't talk about Cunha. You didn't talk about Max Kilman. You didn't talk about Senesi. You didn't talk about your boy.
We haven't even gotten to those guys, and I think even when we do get there, the options are so minimal.
They're going to end up fitting into my hey, rapid fire segment. All right.
Yeah.
Brian, Travis's team got shut out.
Yeah.
My team got shut out.
Yeah.
Brian, your team got destroyed by Newcastle.
Got destroyed, and we don't even need to cover them because they blank this week. And the question is, if you're selling them, how long are you selling them for?
Ooh, interesting.
So free hit, obvious sell. Wild card, if you still have a wild card left, they're an obvious sell because you can wild card them back in game week 35, 36, whatever, however long you want to wait to use your wild card. You can't wait too much longer. If you don't have the free hit or wild card, I don't know how. You just have to probably navigate keeping Son or just, I don't know.
Would you rather have Son or Bruno?
No, great question.
Uh,
I think, doesn't Tottenham they have a double coming up, don't they? They have 2 doubles. 2 doubles? That's not right.
Yeah, no, they have. They have 2.
Yeah, they have 2 doubles.
You're not selling.
They have a crappy run in.
Right. We've talked about this.
Forgot about that.
The matchups are bad on paper. They're very red.
It's Bruno. Sheffield, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Brighton.
Yeah, the matchups on paper are way better for Manchester United. You get one double out of it, and Bruno, obviously penalty taker most of the time, obviously has the power to concede, to give the penalty over to someone else with much authority, unlike Cole Palmer.
I hate Bruno.
I know you do.
It pains me to go over his numbers, but you can go back to match week 26. You can go back 8 match weeks. But the last 3 are 8, 9, and 15.
Yeah, it hurts.
No, and last week was, I think, when we talk about City, I mean, I got burned like everybody else did by the early leak about Phil Foden starting against Luton. That crushed my decision.
You know what's
because
hilarious?
Prior to that, Saka was going out for me. I was thinking, since I was free hitting 34, I need to buy someone long term, and the next obvious choice for long-term pick is Bruno Fernandes. I already had Garnacho, and I'm looking seriously at no, Bruno scored back-to-back games, and now they have the best fixtures for the near term. They just do, and so that's why but the allure of Phil Foden starting against Luton at home, and I made the decision as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Saka out, Foden in.
That's tough. All right.
So I'm saying...
So Spurs don't need to talk about this. Not relevant for 34. They're blanking.
No, the only relevance for them is what are you doing with them to get them back in your team? I think, again...
That's assuming I don't have any Spurs.
The doubles are going to call to you. And so the question
eventually.
is...
No, they won't.
Yeah.
Spurs doubles are not going to call to you.
Arsenal, Chelsea, Burnley, City.
Not worried about only again.
They got their home Burnley, home City. So the Burnley matchup looks appealing. Looks appealing.
Right. Oh, Arsenal at home looks appealing now too because they're like a wounded gazelle.
Maybe. You never know.
Look, I said
North London derbies are never 0-0.
I was going to say we've gone through the numbers of this 3 weeks. We will do it 3 weeks in a row if we have to.
No,
because we don't need to talk about them because they're blanking.
No, that's what I'm saying. We don't need to talk about them because they're blanking. We can go over the scores in all of these tough matchups.
Got you.
About how many goals were scored in all of those matchups in the reverse fixtures. I'm just saying.
I see your point.
I'm saying.
I just can't root. I don't have any Spurs.
Stop mid-sentence.
It's almost like he's acting like it's allergy season or something. It's just getting ridiculous. I mean, look, if it's not worth talking about Newcastle plays.
We do have to talk about
Newcastle. They don't blank.
He's back.
And I can't believe this, Brian.
Go ahead.
Isak.
Uh-huh.
Who has scored more goals this season? Dominic Solanke or Isak?
Solanke.
I think Isak passed him.
Did he?
Trick question.
They're tied.
Same.
They're tied.
Yeah.
Who has scored more goals this season? Salah or Isak?
I think Isak's got him by 1.
Trick question again. They're tied.
Are they?
Trick question again. Who scored more goals, Son or Isak?
That one I think is Isak.
It is Isak.
Still, yeah.
Who has scored more goals, Watkins or Isak?
That's
Watkins. Easy.
By how much?
A lot.
1 or 2.
What's a lot?
4.
No, 2. And then who's leading the league jointly at the top of the goal scoring list?
Holland and Cole Palmer.
Cold
Hey,
Palmer.
um,
Holland and Cold Palmer. I just was shocked that Isak had scored that many goals.
The Darwin Watkins bet is the worst single thing that I would have said. The second was it's not as bad. It's just doubting in every possible way the long-term fitness and viability of Isak as a pick enough to actually go to him. So the fact that it was a kind of a not a no-brainer, but it was a not very much brainer to get him when I got him. And obviously I'm happy that I did. I'm just saying, like, I don't think I would have ever.
Is this your way of tooting your own horn?
No, I'm
or you
saying,
finally listened to your advice?
Well, no, if I had listened to what my instinct was weeks ago, it was he's gonna blow the groin again.
Oh.
At some point, this is not gonna work anymore.
Okay.
He can't sustain 90 minutes, or at least hasn't shown the ability to sustain 90 minutes. And here he goes every week playing like 90 minutes, and it makes me nervous. Because I just think we've been here before. Maybe not with this. The thing is, he's hitting the ceiling. So he keeps hitting like he's scoring braces and he's crushing. Like he looks awesome.
Yeah. All right.
So, and then with Gordon back, they're just dangerous. But attacking wise,
What about Shar? You like Shar?
no, I was gonna say that's one of the most hilarious things. Look at the top scorers this week, and look at how close but so far some of them are to your team. Like the clean sheet odds for Newcastle and Tottenham going into the game was like 17%.
Yeah.
Like Son as a captain choice for a lot of people this week. You know what I mean? Like ahead of the game, this was like there's only one outcome for this game, and it's goals. And it turned into only Newcastle
goals.
Yeah. So the fact that Tottenham got obliterated it should be surprising to everybody. Not that Newcastle scored, it's that only Newcastle scored. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've kind of been saying, I feel like we've kind of been saying that about both of those teams, is that it's the defenses are not good. Spurs will concede. Newcastle will concede. But
just get it. Just do it.
Yeah.
So, Travis, would you go out on the heels of this performance and free hit in Gordon?
I already own Gordon.
You already own him. He's not doubling this week. Would you free hit him in?
No.
Okay.
I don't think you can.
Okay.
The question after this week, when you're actually making permanent transfers, is, I think, other than Cole Palmer, who would you sell to get Anthony Gordon? And I think the answer is anyone. I'm not kidding. I don't know
That's
that
a bold statement.
I don't know. He's $6. He's $6.
It was way cheaper than that earlier.
He probably won't outscore Garnacho going out this season.
Come on.
Let's hear it.
You would take Garnacho over Anthony Gordon points.
Oh, let's do it.
ROS.
We haven't written down a lot of these bets.
Here's
bet.
I know you need to write this one
Gordon
down.
he's had a decent year, but it's not like you look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, he's got 4 goals and 3 assists on the season.
Here's the thing with Anthony Gordon. At home all season, he's been a monster.
Garnacho's got 7 and 6.
I know. I'm saying that
He's got 40 more points than Garnacho.
I'm saying that Anthony Gordon,
40.
That's
That's a
the
lot.
wrong thing.
Anthony Gordon at home has been a good pick every game week that he's been at home, which means the only bad news for him for the remainder of the season is that 4 of Newcastle's last 6 games are away. So they have 2 home games. If you're going to buy into the home away narrative for Anthony Gordon,
Which
then
you should.
then Gordon, then you might avoid him just because 4 of 6 are away.
I looked at the wrong thing. Gordon's 10 goals, 13 assists.
Right. He's having an unbelievable season.
Not 7 and
Right.
6.
And has he been suspended twice?
Yes.
And he's been injured at least once.
Once for yellow card accumulation, once for a double,
double yellow. Yeah. So he's gotten multiple suspensions. I'm just saying.
Everybody wants to punch him. He's got that punchable face.
To me, I think it's just because of Newcastle's remaining schedule. I just don't know how you don't look at Gordon and just say, I would sacrifice him. I would sacrifice almost every other player to have him.
Interesting.
I just think over, and
I'm not saying it's a bad call. I don't feel as strongly as you.
Where you would bet is will Gordon with this good schedule and a double, with the rest of the season, will he outscore any Arsenal midfielder? I think he will outscore. I don't know. I think he will be comparable to them to the point that you would say if you have other needs and you want to go Saka to Gordon, I don't know why you would be upset about that.
Yeah, Saka is definitely coming off the boil, but Saka again is 40 points ahead of
Anthony Gordon. Right. I don't know.
Happening.
I'm just saying a performance like this,
Fair.
Goal and 2 assists, you're not counting on that every week. And yeah, look, it's 4 road games and 2 home games remaining for Newcastle. Maybe that factors in.
I think it maybe should more than it would for others. For Anthony Gordon, for whatever weird reason.
The actual numbers, the Newcastle attack in away games, overall as a team, they're 5th worst for shots per game, and they're 6th worst for shots on target per game, but they're 6th best for goals scored.
Weird.
Yeah. So 10.5 shots per game in road games, but they've managed to score 26 goals on the road, which is 6th best overall. They have 8
So weird.
8 set piece goals for Newcastle in away matches this season, which is tied for 2nd.
Huh.
What do you think about that?
By Shar, I guess. All right. Jokes. All right. Manchester City 5, Luton 1. The biggest FPL controversy of the week was the, in quotes, leaks. We even got a Pep quote, I'm guessing referencing fantasy, saying that, guess the leaks were wrong.
Everyone thinks they're trying to weed it out.
The
The
leaks?
suggestion was that City and Liverpool have both leaked
Team news, it wasn't
team
correct.
news that ended up being incorrect to try to find the leaker.
Why do they hate fantasy? Why not just be freaking right up front with it? That's just stupid.
I don't think
If they didn't have
competitive
the
advantage.
stupid-ass
that's
deadline,
exactly what it is. It has nothing to do with fantasy. It has everything to do with the competitive advantage of who's healthy, who's not healthy, what is your tactical plan.
does it really change for some of these teams? Do they really go, well, hell, Foden ain't playing. I guess we're going to play a
That's
six.
That's a really good Steve Cooper.
6-3-1. No. It's not changing.
I think the only thing I think for Manchester City, I think the only thing it usually would be is relief. Thank goodness Foden's not.
It's just so annoying.
Foden was playing, he's not.
Holland gets an assist off look, Holland owners were happy with his result in the end. He got 20. I think he scored 10 fantasy points, had a goal and an assist off
Did you captain him?
Daiki Hashioka's face.
Did you captain him?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I'm not
So
stupid.
why are you complaining?
I'm not. I wish I would have captained Mr. Cole.
I'm sure.
Everyone
Everyone
wishes
wishes they could have done that.
they could have done that. I'm just glad I didn't do something stupid and Captain Salah.
City is up for this. They're up for the rest of the season. Now, easiest remaining schedule on paper, I think, really comes into play here.
Right, but does that mean we can count on their fantasy production?
You can't count on starts. So the answer is the
Okay,
only person
so
you
now-
can count on is Haaland.
All right, so with that being said, rest of the season, would you rather have Bruno Fernandes or Phil Foden?
I'm still going to try to find a way to put both guys in my midfield.
All right, would you rather have Bruno Fernandes rest of the season after 34 or Salah?
I'd rather have Bruno Fernandes.
What about
I'd rather have Phil Foden. I'd rather
what
have
about
Phil Foden.
on 34?
I'm not
If you're not
sure.
free hitting and can't have both.
I'm not sure what single game week players I'm going to have at all by game week 37. And that could
You mean 30? You mean 34?
No,
No,
I think
37.
because I think the planning, and this is the thing, like
You're going to
because
bench boost 37.
I wild carded already, saved the free hit, so the free hit is going to be active. Like I said, I have not activated it yet, but it will be active for this game week.
And then you go back to planning
And then
for 37.
like I'm not losing Son, I'm not losing Cole Palmer, I'm not losing. I'll still have I'll have Foden back again. Now that Saka's out of the team, but that was a move I was willing to make anyway. I would have swapped Saka for Bruno, Foden, or Anthony Gordon. And I don't know that I would have hesitated on any of those three. Also, if I was picking, like I said, the numbers, straight up numbers, I would have picked Havertz as my Arsenal midfielder anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If I was picking one Arsenal midfielder,
Right.
it would have been Havertz. And then, of course, any single game, like this idea, no matter what, the discourse is always going to drive one way or the other. Double game weeks are the greatest, and the greatest opportunity to score the most points, or double game weeks are overrated. Pick. I don't care. Whichever one.
You can prove either.
Right. It's just true. Somebody that plays one game is going to outscore someone who plays two games. It just is. It just happens. Like Abdoulaye Doucouré can score double digits in this game. If someone like that can can have a double digit fantasy week, then he can outscore Phil Foden in a single game week.
Especially if Phil only plays one game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that idea that Haaland plays Brighton. Haaland can easily outscore Dominic Solanke, Mateta, Cunha, Darwin. I don't care. Whatever double game week forward you choose, Haaland can outscore him. And it's going to, this week is a weird week to say, Haaland's out of my team. I will not start him despite a very good on paper matchup away to Brighton.
Right.
So, I don't know what you do. This week, even for City, you get a lucky assist, you get a penalty goal, and you get a fine enough game from Haaland. You're not mad about it.
Are you going to have any single game week players in your free hit?
I might have a bench single game weeker, but I'm not starting a single game weeker.
Okay.
I don't think so.
The sounds that I'm hearing are really loud around those guys, but it's not about the free hit on that front. It's more so a matter of don't take hits to get a double game week when you have a viable single game week. Was that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think your strategy. I mean, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't that be yours? I mean, I looked at it.
Not his. He's ready to take a negative 16.
I know. I looked at it long and hard.
Let's have fun.
Well, no, I looked at it. I looked
But I'm
at
also
it for
gonna
a
bench
while,
boost. It wouldn't be that if I wasn't bench boosting.
trying to decide: do I really need to free hit this week? Like, I kept looking at it, and I'm like, can I make it work?
I was in the same
don't?
boat, but ultimately, though, I still have my wild card,
Yeah,
and
See,
I still have my bench boost. So it's like I'm
Yeah,
running out of weeks.
Yeah,
here.
you got to use them at some point. No, this week again. If it wasn't Liverpool and Arsenal as two of the doubling teams,
Right.
then I would say maybe I'll find a different way.
Yeah.
But they're two of the doubling teams, and I have Haaland, Foden, Guardiola. So I already have 3 City.
Yep.
So going into game week 37,
You're set.
that's what I'm gonna have.
You just gotta
And
get
Guardiola can move. I'm not that's not a guy that I'm gonna be dead set. I will not hesitate to hit him out
Okay.
if it push comes to shove in the next 3 game weeks. So I guess that's why, like, looking
All right.
at it, I just don't know how, like, if you have a viable team, especially from 35 to 38, like, I just don't think, I don't know, unless
Yeah.
it gets real obvious and you're getting to a point where you're like, this guy's red triangle is, going to be till September. That's different.
Well,
All right.
We've been talking for an hour and a half, and I have a red triangle now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. This is what I could see it in your eyes. This is what I was going to say. I'm going to rapid fire here. I'm going to hit up the results, and then we can pick and choose. No one wants to talk about Burnley 1, Brighton 1. No one. No one wants to talk about Brentford 2, Sheffield 0.
No,
I don't.
the only thing that matters in there
It's
is that
Flecken.
Ivan Toney benched healthy
healthy bench.
healthy scratch.
Healthy scratch.
Guys
Okay.
fit and played zero.
And people had him.
And he was, and everyone talking about
gone.
it was like, hey, maybe you captain Tony. And I feel like we are way closer to Tony getting shut down again. We said it last
Tony's
week.
going to end up going to play in Italy or
Arsenal.
I am telling you,
he's not going to Arsenal.
it
I told
feels
you.
way more like Tony has picked up a season-ending foot strain.
He might be going to Saudi.
Won't
to
be
play.
playing again for us this season. We appreciate your services, and we've got it. Mbuemo and Wissa got it from here.
No one really wants to talk about Fulham 2,
Wait, who
West
did they
Ham
beat
0.
2-0?
Brentford beat Sheffield 2-0.
Yeah. The only bad thing for that was Ayer from
Brentford.
Brentford
because some
was
people
like
might have him.
well, he's been far and away their best defender, and he missed because of illness or something like
Gotcha.
that this week.
Forest 2, Wolves 2. There might be some things in there. I'm just not
Cunha.
going. I'm
Cunha,
not.
Gibbs-White.
Morgan Gibbs-White
But
scored
Cunha,
again, and
especially 'cause he's
Cunha.
doubling.
But I'm not going to Cunha. I think he's an awesome player. But
Is Cunha scoring against you?
no,
All right. Okay.
I don't feel great about that. Maybe.
Yes. Want
But
to see it.
but then Wolves play the double.
Yeah.
So he's not going to score against Arsenal. Is he going to score against who else do they play? Who's the other team that they play?
Bournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth. Wait, he can score against Bournemouth.
Neto might be the goalkeeper of the week.
If that happens, then I don't know. I'll eat this stack of snot rags.
That would
It's
be
a
gross.
big
I wouldn't even wish that on you. All right.
I'm just saying. To me, like I think Cunha's performance was enough that, like, I think just the fact that you're counting Wolves, even though it's a double game week, I think you're kind of counting on 1s and 2s for most Wolves players, barring some kind of weird, I don't know, something that you aren't counting on here.
Max Kilman. Bring him in.
Will Wolves be up for it? Oh, the big thing with Wolves, I think, too, was that Nori.
Cunha's a forward. He's 5'6".
Yeah, that's exactly
I know,
it.
that's what I'm saying. He's a great pickup for the double.
Yeah. Why are
Would you rather have Cunha or Mateta?
Yes, please, both. Why wouldn't you?
I think if your front line in the double game week 34 was Solanke, Cunha, Mateta, I mean,
That was eerily close to Hakuna Matata.
Cunha Mateta is not a bad team name. First of all, second of all, yeah, I don't think you're going to complain about it. You can't tell me that you like. Look,
Would you rather? I mean, but would you rather have Isak for 1 week or Cunha for 2 this week in 34?
wait, what did we say? Newcastle? Oh, they're at Crystal Palace. I'd rather have Cunha for 2.
I agree.
All right.
He's already in my team.
Would you rather have Mateta for 2 or Isak for 1?
I want Mateta for those 2 home
I think
games.
I want Mateta for 2.
Okay.
I agree.
All right.
But
Hey,
look, I don't. This
Just
is the
gotta
thing.
ask the questions
This
here.
is that's
He's
a,
also on my team.
but that's a free hit question because if you're picking, because if you're buying, you're not selling Isak to get Mateta, Cunha,
Right,
Solanke. You're
right.
not selling
Exactly, that's
him. You're not selling. You're buying Isak.
I have a Moonies, and I could get a Cunha or Mateta for the rest of the season.
No.
That's
you're-
tough.
If you're going, I don't know.
Cunha.
I feel like Mateta's
You
not a
could
bad
s-
option.
You could sell Mooney's for Cunha for this week for the purpose of getting the double, and then moving Cunha on to try to get somebody else
in that spot.
For 37.
After 30,
So
from
you'd rather
35
have
to 38.
Cunha greater than Mateta for double match week if you got to have one.
I agree. I think that's what I say.
Even though
Cunha
Wolves
over
is playing
Mateta?
Arsenal.
I think so.
Even though Wolves
Cunha
is playing
did score
Arsenal.
this week too, so like he's got the hot hand.
That's a coin flip for me.
Okay.
I think Mateta has a better supporting cast, but Cunha is I think more on form. That's maybe not even true, but close. It's close.
It's just that now, like, no Neto, Huang, back, but not maybe not ready. Maybe not back ready to start. Start both or 90 minutes for sure. Not in both, but Cunha is the goal source,
Right.
for them. So in that case, that's where Cunha is. I think still a very good pick. The bad one was Eight Nori. Eight Nori, the trendiest pick in all of defense, goes.
Sorry, League Diane.
Subbed out early. Rumors that he was okay, that we were just managing him, that kind of thing, and then he's not even in the team.
All right. So that was.
Let me just add to my pile.
Forest Wolves 2-2.
Forest. No, we're done with that. Bournemouth 2, United 2. We have 3 minutes tops at most on this match. I think United assets going out the rest of the way. I don't care if they have single match weeks or not. Look at their schedule. Bruno, Garnacho, Onana. What's wrong with any of that?
Nothing.
Maybe not as much for Garnacho, but the next 2 home matches are home Sheffield, home Burnley.
Garnacho got subbed early this week, and I know they were.
Yeah.
I know a very prominent Manchester United reporter was not happy with the way Ten Hag handled the post-match press conference,
In which
because
he said
he suggested that it was Garnacho. I kind of questioned his, I don't know, work rate. His
effort. He was questioning his effort.
Specifically questioning the effort of Garnacho, and I don't remember the guy's name offhand. I saw it. I was at your house whenever I saw it.
Okay.
But just basically that the guy said Garnacho's 19, and he's been one of your most effective players this season. He's started an unfair amount of games for someone his age, and he's performed well. And now you're questioning his effort.
Gotcha.
Like, you're questioning that guy.
Right.
Why? Because you don't want to upset the bigger money guys? Is that why you're questioning the 19-year-old?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bad manager, or at least bad management in that moment.
Yeah, for sure. Good call.
So Garnacho's on my team, but yeah, definitely this week I was really not. I was not happy about not making the move to Bruno Fernandes, because I think the numbers for Bruno are real good,
and they're playing home
They've
Sheffield
been real good
next
all
week.
season.
And then they're home Burnley. And I'm just like, I don't know if Phil Foden's going to start. And if Foden starts, you love it. But daggone it, I can't count on Phil Foden starting at this point. So
Count on him starting about as much as you can count on him standing up.
you know who I will be? Yeah. Thank you, Travis.
The difference is that Phil Foden was knocked, and then he was ill. So, and then also, like, he is a guy, like, yeah, they sat him for one of the games, but he's played more minutes, and he's played, like, this season, he's played more minutes than he's played at any other point. So this is his. He's not just having a very good season. He's potentially young player of the year. Like, this is like player of the year type season for Phil Foden.
Yeah.
I would count
It
on.
honestly depends on what Cole Palmer does, though, right? I mean, that's
No, he's after the 4-goal performance, and we're gonna finish up with I just don't think Chelsea has many talking points other than him, and half the fantasy world already owns Cole Palmer.
I'm saying you hedge toward Phil Foden, then rather than move away from him. I would not for me.
Okay.
I want him with the assumption that regardless of the opponent, once it gets into the thick of it,
they're gonna want
he's
him,
essential to what they're doing.
All right.
He's not an afterthought in the team.
All right, fair enough. I'll wait till after match week 34, and then I'll sell Salah and bring him in.
Sure.
That's probably
I don't hate that idea.
All right. Let's see. I think as we were flipping through, that throws us into Chelsea 6, Everton 0, and what was just a Chelsea demolishing. And Cole Palmer gets 4. There was a kerfuffle on the penalty spot. Travis?
Did you like that?
I didn't see it.
Okay, Travis, I'll describe it to you. So
let's hear it.
A penalty is awarded. Madueke is first to the ball, and he picks it up like he's going to take it. Now, Palmer's already on a hat trick, so you got to be thinking like, all right, let someone else score. Madueke is like, I need to get my scoring vibes going. Cold Palmer comes and takes the ball, or he and Madueke, or Madueke was going. I can't remember who picked the ball at first. Bottom line is, Cole Palmer ended up being more forceful, snatching the ball away. I think as Madueke was trying to get it from him, like, hey, give a fella a chance here. And Cole Palmer, like, shoved him away. Like, there was actual shoving.
And
it was kind of
Nicholas Jackson was involved.
And then Nicholas Jackson comes in.
Nicholas Jackson thought he was going to try to steal it and take it, too.
Yeah. And then it got weirder because Jackson comes in almost like, no, I'm going to take it.
Well, he had earned it based off of this.
And you know who scored it was Cole Palmer. And Pochettino backed him up after the game and said, he's our penalty taker.
Yeah.
So everyone else needs to back down, regardless of how many goals he scored up to this point.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees it was the immature, bad look.
Horrible.
For the team.
Horrible. Selfish.
Yeah.
If the penalty taker of the team looks over to you and goes, hey, you want this? Now you have that option. But if you can't earn it in practice, then shut your trap with your little your performances on the pitch can't score in a regular way, and so you got to rely on a penalty to get it done.
Well, Nick Jackson did score in this game
earlier
without the penalty.
He did.
So Nicholas Jackson ends up being a top performer this week, and there was a bit of, of course, you thought about, I'm sure.
Now, you had said a few weeks ago that you wanted to go to Nico Jackson, but you never did, right?
I never did.
That's what I thought.
What I did was I kept Darwin Nunez and Holland.
Oh,
and,
great.
And I also have Isak.
Yeah, well, that's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Because, like I said, I thought Darwin would outscore Ollie Watkins.
So Chelsea doesn't have a double coming up.
Yes, they do.
When? 37?
They have 2 doubles.
2 doubles. 35, 37?
And this is exactly why.
And you would take Gusto?
Getting Nick Jackson as a long-term pick was not a bad idea just because of the volume of games, and he is no threat to his position unless he does something idiotic like try to steal a penalty from Cole Palmer, which he did. I still think it's an immature move. I hope that Pochettino has the gravitas to be the big manager here, and that everybody listens to him, and that this is settled, and that this kind of dispute never happens again. Yes, Gusto's in my team. I benched him this week in favor of Connor Bradley. I thought
surely Bradley would be able to shut out Crystal Palace.
I thought surely
Everton will probably score on Chelsea.
Statistically, the best defender for all of Liverpool will have a good chance at getting something in a home game against Crystal Palace, and he got not only injured, but also had conceded before that. So it was a 1. Did Connor Bradley get a 1
or 0 maybe?
And then
probably a 1.
With Connor Bradley's nothing, and then Gabriel's nothing. It was really special to see Gusto with 6 there on the bench. I did start Petrovic, the goalkeeper from Chelsea, this week. So that was
okay.
But
look at you. You had a good score this week.
I still call it luck because Beto should have scored. Beto put one in the net, but it was offside, which Travis equals.
Not a goal.
Not a goal. However, it's not for their lack of chances. Everton had a couple chances at least and just didn't put them away at all. And then I agree with Sean Dyche.
No one from Merseyside was scoring.
They're awful. They're a horrible offense. And this is exactly why I don't know, even as leaky as Liverpool have been, I still feel like they should keep the clean sheet against Everton.
It's a different game.
I just don't know how Everton score anything.
Doesn't look. very
from
scoreful.
anybody
Yeah, I
against
agree.
anyone the rest of the season.
I agree.
Either way, yeah, Gusto's in the team. To me, now that you know that he's fit, he played, he came off a little bit early, which is totally fine in that game. He couldn't have come off early enough after 60 minutes. Honestly, I think everyone was expecting them to concede a pointless goal, and they didn't do it. I don't trust them at all as a defense. This is not some airtight defense. This was, to me, a very lucky clean sheet, and they just smashed an Everton team, like Sean Dyche said, where everything went wrong. Every bad thing we did was punished. That's the way he put it. And he was right.
Man. All right. All that being said, let's round this podcast up, Brian. I'm taking advantage of you blowing your nose.
The question is, are you benching Cole Palmer?
No.
This week.
If you're free hitting, you're not keeping him.
If you're free hitting, Cole Palmer's not even in your team.
Okay, fair enough. Yes.
If you have him, are you benching? You have him.
Yes.
Are you benching him against your own team?
Yes, I will, but the
Okay.
problem is I might still bench boost. So
Come on. You don't want that.
I might.
You're not excited to make that move. Is the hope then that Arsenal keep the clean sheet against Wolves, and then if they concede to Chelsea, that it's Cole Palmer scoring the goal for Chelsea?
Either that or like I can't have a perfect bench boost team. So I mean,
Isn't perfection your goal? Every decision you make is that.
This is what I was trying to get around to. The top 5, I dropped a point, and so did Rockabye Angel League Shen. We both dropped a spot to League Xander, a Flecken team, with 111 this week.
He captained Palmer.
He skyrocketed up the chart there. He did
100,
not.
100 will do that.
He did not captain Palmer.
That's amazing.
Do you know who he captained? It's not a surprise. Holland.
Okay, Captain Holland.
He had Jackson,
Okay, great.
Isak, Gordon,
It's fantastic.
Palmer, Gardeval,
Yep.
Petrovic.
Oh, there you go.
I mean,
That's a lot of points.
That is a crap ton of points.
Yeah.
So now Foden's in his first bench spot, so it makes me wonder if
He had
Gordon
someone sub on.
or someone else subbed on probably. But you know what? Luck, as an old friend of ours used to say, you make your own luck.
Yep.
Anyways, but Sun Sail Away, League Bow, who is still in first place, 2,028 points. I have 2,002, 26 points behind him in fourth place. I am 7 points behind third place and 8 points behind second. So, hey, I'm trying to win the podcast league. I mean, I'll probably never be back in this position again.
Yep.
We got to try to do it.
You don't know that, Dave.
We got to try to do this right now.
He doesn't, but we know that's not going to happen.
Look, you play.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying I don't think I'm going to be back here again. So I need to try to win it this year. And I know League Bow is out of chips. I got 1 chip left. And I haven't checked. Now League Xander made his presence known. So
I mean, 100 points in a week where the average is 50 something. That'll move you up high. Yeah, I think that is the last big question. I think that's the sheer number. Do you still feel like? I mean,
last thing, and I'm gonna say right now, while you're finishing that thought, I want to know captains. Everyone,
just that Cole Palmer is the FPL MVP this year, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I mean, it was maybe debatable a couple weeks ago, but this is ridiculous. Like what he's doing.
Palmer's now the highest scoring midfielder with 208 points, and he is tied with Watkins on the season.
I mean, it's like this is beyond Lundstrom. From a few, like the value of a player compared to comparative
not
to
even
the point.
Close.
This is absurd.
His current value is 6.2. He started the season. Flick over.
Yeah, everybody's
5.0.
Right. Everybody. The question is like, what will he cost in FPL next season? And everyone's setting the early estimate is that he'll be 8.5 minimum. And I'm just thinking, there's not one team on earth that plays this game that won't have Cole Palmer as their first choice midfielder at anything less than $9.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're
You
right.
won't even think twice about it.
Yeah,
He's providing a greater than Salah value. You won't even hesitate.
you're right. You're right.
Anyway,
All right, Brian, captaining this week. Are you captaining a Liverpool or Arsenal player on your free hitish? I know you technically haven't activated it yet.
I am definitely not captaining an Arsenal player this week.
Okay.
The question is whether it will be Salah or someone else, and I don't hate the idea of
Diaz.
an Eze captain.
Interesting. Travis, it's bold.
I also am trying to go with something bold. And right now,
Mateta.
no, worse.
Dom.
Worse.
Henderson.
Worse.
Virgil,
Worse.
way worse. Oh,
Darwin.
geez. Oh,
Oh.
well,
I'm really considering. You're worried
That's-
he's going to
that-
about his minutes.
that's bold.
I think I'm going that right now.
That's
where
bold.
I think I'm going right now.
okay.
Well, I'm
My
glad,
vice is on Havertz.
I'm glad I
but
made you guys choose. I don't know. I mean, I have the standard Salah, Saka picks at the moment, but Bruno might be in my team, and honestly, hand of God, captaining Bruno this week home to Sheffield might be a better captain than anyone who's got a double.
That's fair.
So
Or even Holland at Brighton, truthfully.
yeah, and that could be the case just the same.
Cool.
So I think I don't know, man. I got 2 dead goalkeepers. I got to move and shake, man. I got to move and shake. And if you're gonna move and shake on goalkeepers, do it on a week where they play doubles.
Yeah. Last 2 things. First of all, it's
Just two? You can have as many as you
hilarious.
want.
It's hilarious the number of free hit teams before the Chelsea result
Oh,
had Pickford in it,
Oh yeah.
and how many now do not have Pickford in it.
Okay.
So that's like the idea that Pickford was on your free hit team anyway. I mean, I guess goalkeepers have been a crapshoot this season. I get that, but I don't know. I don't know what you were expecting in a week where Everton.
It's weird.
What they're playing, they're a target team 100%. They're a target team, whatever. The second thing is that there are some people who are really, really trying to pump up Brereton Diaz and a little bit Gustavo Hammer from Sheffield for this week.
Not hearing it.
Diaz has not been
Again,
bad.
it's that Brereton Diaz is playing out of position. He's essentially playing as a forward for
Right.
Sheffield, and that the rotation is Ollie McBurney may or may not start as a forward. Cameron Archer, I think, is back again, but whoever else is playing up there, whatever. It's like it's Brereton Diaz and somebody else. I just
McBurney.
wanted the whole story to me is that Brereton Diaz arrived at Sheffield in game week 21. He scored back-to-back goals. He blanked in game week 23. Then he got hurt for 4 game weeks. Okay. He has started all 5 of the game weeks after he came back. So he started all 5 of the last games since game week 28. So since game week 21, since he arrived at Sheffield, he is Sheffield's leading point scorer, FPL points. He has 39 points
Okay.
since game week 21. Brereton Diaz. The other players who have scored around 39 points,
Right. The other players who are close to 39 points.
since game week 21. Jordan Ayew, Chidozie Ogbene from Luton,
Okay.
Pedro Neto,
Yep.
who you may recognize from being injured for a very, very long time.
Right.
Harvey Elliott has 38 points.
Okay.
Kobe Mainu has 41. Justin Kluivert has 43. Like,
Yeah, but I'm not owning any of those guys either.
That's his point. Why would you bring in somebody that's
That's
the
your- okay,
same
that
as
is your
Yeah.
point.
those other guys?
Why are these guys getting love?
what I'm saying is
Yeah.
the argument for them is out of position Brereton Diaz, and they're playing Manchester United, and they're playing, who else does Sheffield have? They have 2, Burnley. They play Burnley.
Okay.
So the matchups are, I don't care what color they are, those are good matchups. I think that's the feeling, is that Sheffield, as bad as they are.
They're not scoring on United.
You don't think?
No.
Yeah, probably not. But
No.
okay.
I don't know, man. I feel like
So I'm considering.
I feel like
bringing
Manchester
in
United is
Onana.
awful.
They're not great, but Sheffield's really bad. So there's that. And Ten Hag is got one. Well, I was trying to think of a fun pun, but I couldn't. One leg out the door. All right. Listen, Brian, excellent work. Travis, solid as ever. Thank you for hosting, Travis. Appreciate that. For everyone getting ready for your free hit or your 3 hits this weekend, wait until the midweek matches are over. I'm speaking to myself. Wait. There might be some injuries. You might have a new hole to fill in your team that you weren't planning on. So if you're going to 3 hit or free hit, just pump the brakes. Wait till after Thursday. Give Liverpool a chance to play as well. Manchester or City and Arsenal play. That we're recording on Tuesday night. They play Wednesday. So good luck to all the leagues. Good luck to everyone in their leagues. And come on, you Gunners. Let's beat Bayern. This is not a Champions League podcast. For the FPL America podcast, this is David Smith. Until next time.